Who is live with me? Welcome. We are live. This is day 2 of the Purpose Ready Bootcamp. Are you in the room? I am super excited to be doing this with you. Shall we? Who is ready? Who is ready? Who is ready tonight? We are live. Do not forget to join me tonight on the Purpose Ready Bootcamp Day 2. Who is excited for this? I am waiting for every single person who is going to make more out of tonight's session. So, in the light of that, I am going to be back end while you take on with the music. Okay, who is back with me? Who is live with me today? I want to see that in the comments. I want to say, hi, hello, how are you doing? And I want to be very much as excited as you are to see you today. So if you're live with me, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comment. I am super excited for what day two is going to be like. And you know that today we are talking about picking a purposeful struggle. It's not enough to want to attract purpose. It is important that you learn how to also make sure it is purposeful. What you are focusing on has to be purposeful. So today is all about picking a purposeful struggle. Picking your purposeful struggle. Picking your purposeful struggle. Let me know. Picking your purposeful struggle. Okay, thank you so much, Adenike. Welcome, Adenike Adebayo. I am super excited to have you here. And do not forget to remind your friends, your families, your frenemies to be live in this session today. Whoops, picking a purposeful struggle. There is a lot that this comes with. There is a lot that it shows up with, and there is a lot of places that you just might not think you are going to find it, but it rears its head and tell you you have not done well. And we do not want to have that, right? And that means that what we have to do is to make sure that we are ready as often as possible to make the most out of any situation at all. So, picking a purposeful struggle is very, very important. It is very, very, very important. So tonight it's all about picking a purposeful struggle, and then I am waiting for you to tell your friends and family to join in here. Welcome, Francisca. How are you doing? I am super excited to be going through this with you tonight, and it's all about picking a purposeful struggle. Yesterday we discussed everything around what it means to question yourself in a way that you start to do things that attract purpose to you, what it means to look at your life and start to ask questions that brings about seeking meaning in the various aspects of your life. What it means to actually look into your own self, your skills, your talents, your tools, your treasures, all of them, and begin to find what you need to impact people, to impact your immediate community, to impact the lives of many that you might not ever be able to meet in your lifetime. What exactly does it mean for you to get to that point? That is very important. That is very important. That is very important. So, yes, today, we are going to be diving deeper into attracting purpose. Like I said yesterday, it's okay to want to find purpose. But what is not okay is actually forcing it. I talked about, rushing the process yesterday. And so if you did not catch up yesterday, please take a moment after tonight's session to watch the session on questions that attract purpose to you. Because today you are actually going into that place of you picking what purpose is going to be like for you. Are we together? And that's in the next, I think, about 2 minutes. We are going to get right into the conversation. And I am super excited for everybody who has taken the time to be here today because you are not going to live the same way. Just as those who came yesterday did not live the same way, you will not live the same way too. I am making a promise out of that. So start to count. until that time when you're going to look at yourself and like, I am glad I attended this session. I am glad I did this for myself. I am glad I made sure I stayed till the end because there are goodies at the end of this session and you do not want to miss any part of it. So, yes, I am, and you are the most important piece of this puzzle. So, please get your water, get your notebook, get everything that you need to get in order to be able to milk the most of today's session. It is very, very important. Do not allow yourself to live here without one thing that you are going to do tomorrow. That is very, very, very important. So, yes, I'm about to show myself to you, and I'm super excited for what is to come. But in the light of all of the many beautiful things we are going to do together, I am Balkis Hamzat, and tonight is another night that you'll learn all that you need, or maybe some of them, yeah, to attract purpose. If you're ready for this, let me know in the comments and let's get right into it. Let me know in the comments if you are ready for me to show my face and then we dive right into today's conversation. We have so much to cover: SWOT analysis, personality test, decision making, so many things that would help you become the best version of yourself. You don't want to miss out on this. So, I'm going to implore you to make sure that you do not at any point drop off, no matter what is happening. Welcome, 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 welcome. I am super excited once again to be here. And before I show my face, let me show you my slide so that you can know that this is not a thing where we are joking about your life. You are the future of tomorrow from today. And we need to make sure that you have all that it takes to make this work. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Picking a Purposeful Struggle, Day 2. And with this, I am going to show myself. Good evening, everybody. Who is excited to see me tonight? I'm always excited to see myself, but who is excited to see me? If you are, let me know in the comments. And I am super excited once again to be here, to be sharing myself and my thoughts with you. Today is Purpose Ready Bootcamp Day 2. And I'm super excited for everybody who will stay to the end, because you are about to get more than you bargained for. And who am I? I am Balkis Amzat. Good evening. I am an author, I am a trainer, I am an advocate, and a realtor in the making. Though I have been doing content for the realtor space, but now I am about to become an agent in the realtor space. But then, what have I achieved in the last 8 years of trying to do life in the best way that I know how to? 7 years of public speaking, 4 years of training experiences, designing profitable brands and programs for 3 years, launching and successfully doing stuff for 4 years, and training over 5,000 young people across various industries. I think with this, I might not have grasped everything about purpose, but I know what it takes to attract it, to bring it closer to you as you go through the journey of life. And yes, there is something I love to say every single time in my life, that at whatever level of success you find me, never attribute it to your usual understanding of luck. That is to tell you that being here tonight, whatever it is you get going forward, whatever it is life is all about for you going forward, it is not just about luck, but because you have been able to put in the effort that opportunity now meets your preparation, and then grace spoke for you. So because you are opportuned, but in that opportunity you are prepared, and in that preparation, grace now spoke for you. That is what your own luck is like. But as it fell on your lap like every other human being that did not do the work, that is not true for you. And today, what are you going to learn? This is not the exhaustive list. There is a number of things in this. But then, tools for picking a struggle, and how to decide on your own struggle. That's like the key thing. And then you are going to know what the new price right now for the Wars to Bridges book is all going to be about. Let's get right into it. I want you to pick the word that actually sits with you when you think about picking a struggle, when you think about making decisions for your life. What word on this screen speaks to you? What word on this screen sits in with you? What word on this screen actually feels like what exactly it is that you are able to get out of your process? Let me know, let me know, let me know. What word are you picking? Is decision for you judgment? Is it evidence? Is it consequence? Is it insight? Is it intuition? Is it conclusion? Is it, deliberation? Is it risk? Is it clarity? Is it alternatives? Is it options, process, review, assessment, outcomes, a course, a commitment, a plan, an evidence, intuition? What exactly? Yes, decision is commitment for you, Keystone. That's a beautiful one. It is very possible that decision is that for you. Who else has something to say when it comes to decision, the words that comes to them, aside from decision itself? What exactly is that word that comes to you? And while you decide what you're picking, right, I want you to think about this. We're going to be looking at the tools for picking your struggle, because with these tools in mind, it gets easier for you to know what direction to move into. Let's get right into it. But first things first, why exactly do you want to pick a struggle? What is the reason? Why is it important? Why is it something you need to do? The first thing is there is focus and clarity the moment you pick a struggle. You know where you are going to, even if you don't totally know how to get there, but there is at least a step to actually getting into that journey. There is personal growth because, like I said yesterday, you are able to learn, unlearn, develop, and so many other things that comes with having focus. Then there is meaning and purpose. You see, what we are looking for is actually purpose. But then, with meaning and purpose, your life starts to take shape in a particular way. And then you start to do things that just get you deeper and deeper into those levels in life that attract you to purpose. Then there is prioritization. Yes, you get to prioritize some things in your life. You're able to say, at this point in my life, this is the most important thing. It's not because of anything. It's just because you are picking a struggle, or you have picked a struggle, and it gets easier for you to say, this is the journey, these are the important things on this journey, and nothing else. The next thing is reduced overwhelm. Yes, I have talked about this a number of times, but today let me talk about it again. Some of the reasons why we get overwhelmed is because there is no clarity. There are so many tips that we are picking from. There are so many voices teaching us how to do life. But when we have picked a struggle, it gets easier for you to stand in a particular point. It gets easier for you to show up with one thing. It gets easier for you to say, this is my teacher, this is my coach, this is my person, because you have a clarity on where you are going to, and it gets easier for you to actually go there. Now, with that in mind, what are the types of clarity you need for purpose? I have said this before and I'll say it again. The clarity of who you are, the clarity of what you can do, the clarity of how you do things differently, the clarity of who you do things for, and the clarity of who you have to become on that journey. I explained this deeply yesterday, but I needed to bring it back today so that you can know how important it is that you need that clarity. Now, let's go to where you can find the things that you have. Because in picking a struggle, you've got to know what you have first. And knowing what you have requires you to actually know where to find them. So, where can you find them? The first is your treasures, the second is your time, the third are your tools, and the last are your talents. Let me explain this to you. When we talk about your treasures, you're going to identify the activities or the topics you're passionate about, what you love doing in your free time, or subjects that interests you. You're also going to recognize the moment that you feel most joyful and fulfilled. What are you doing in that moment? I haven't had dinner, but trust me, I can go to bed after this session without any worry in the world, because these are the moments I find myself the most joyful, the most fulfilled in the life that I currently live. And then you're going to have to reflect on your core values. What are those principles guiding your life? I have been here since 7:25, even if this is meant to start by 7:30. It doesn't mean anything that you are living a life without values. Like I said yesterday, if you live a life without values, you are going to be doing a very big disservice to yourself and the world. And in your treasures, you're going to ask yourself, what would I do if money and time was not an issue? I will speak the whole day. I'll speak about leadership. I'll speak about becoming a better person. I'll speak about using what you have. I mean, if you ask me one question, I would like literally go so deep into it that even you yourself, you ask yourself, I didn't know this person is this knowledgeable. That's it. Now, when it comes to your tools, what are the skills and competencies that you have either professionally or personally? Sometimes in the month, yes, in the early part of the month, I think second, third, or fifth, I sat down to make a list of my skills. Writing is a skill, speaking is a skill, structure is a skill. I love things being structured a lot. But then I was able to go deeper, you know, in speaking. Okay, sorry about that. You now go deeper into that skill. You see, I remember one of my coach, Tolu Michael, said something. He said, speaking, writing are useless if they are not tied to something really important, if they are not tied in a way that makes life easier, if they're not tied in a way that brings you some sort of direction, focus, ease in your life. So when you say speaking, what can you do as a speaker? What can you speak about? How can it help people? And all of that. So you have to, reflect on the areas of expertise and the body of knowledge that you have. What subjects are you well versed in? What can you talk about that can bring you something, that can direct people to you for a particular thing? So identify these things. What are the skills, writing and speaking? What can you write about? Can you write a fully optimized a fully searched engine optimized blog? It's a tool that you have. Your writing is a tool. But what exactly is that area that you can make impact? Now we are going to talk about your talents. These ones are things that you do effortlessly. Effortlessly. It is not everywhere, but then it is something that you think everybody knows, but everybody do not know because there is something different about you when you do those things. Everybody can speak, but there is something different about me when I speak. Everybody can do so many things, but there is something different about me when I do them. So the question is going to be, what exactly is it that is different about me What exactly in my talent is different? What exactly in my skill is different? What exactly in the things that I have around me, in my head, is different? That makes it easy for me to command and attract purpose. And you have to assess yourself first before anything. I'm going to give you, the tool for self-assessment. But first, let's talk about the fact that you've got to access yourself. You got to assess yourself, sorry. So assess yourself. Self-assessment is important. Then seek feedback. Reach out to friends, families, mentors, and all of that, and ask them questions. Thank you so much for being ready to put in the and ask them these questions. Make sure that you let them know how important this is to you, and you also make sure that they are able to see why they need to give you like the very key response. Ask them what they think your talents are. Ask them what they think your strengths are. People will say so many things. Everybody has different ideas of who we are, and we are different people to different we are different things to different people. But then one important thing is the fact that all of those people will not all be wrong. They are going to There's something that will always be like the same for everybody. So make sure that you seek feedback. Another way to do is to track your progress. One of the ways that I knew that, okay, I actually have a kind of voice that is, you know, confident and all of that, and all of the other things that people say about my voice, was because people kept on saying it. And I have a track record of those things. I have a particular place called my achievement inventory that you can find all of the many things that people say about me, the work that I do, and all. And so looking at all of those things, I could see a pattern. And this pattern will make it easy for you to know what your talents are. And then there is also, the question that you ask yourself: what exactly are those things that comes naturally to me? In what areas do I feel confident and capable to take on life? It is very, very important. When you can do that, it gets easier. Speaking is one thing I'm very capable of, and I feel very confident speaking. I write too, but I don't know. I'm not sure if I have that confidence in writing too, but I write well. But with speaking, I feel capable. And if that is the case, I know that I have a talent in speaking. So now I am going to decide where I want to speak from. Can you see that all of those things have to come together in a way? What you have in talent is just raw until you're able to tie it to something and make it work out those things. That's when it becomes profitable, and then it leads you to your purpose. Now, our next part is being time. What exactly do you have in time? A number of people say, I'm not able to do this because I don't have the time. I'm not able to do that because I don't have the time. You have time. You have just not checked what you have in time. Let me explain. When we say check what you have in time, you have to audit your time. How do you spend your time every single day over a week? You can start, let's say, you can start from tomorrow. 8 a.m. to this, what did I do? 9 a.m. to that, what did I do? 10 a.m. So just look at the things you were doing part time. It's going to be easy for you to it's going to make it very easy for you to actually track what your life is about, what each of your day, what you spend your time on, and what you expend your energy doing. So you have to be able to audit your time so you know how much time you allocate to work, your leisure, your chores, whatsoever it is that is in your life. For me, I know that every day, at least I try to have 1 hour nap, and it just doesn't go past that. Every day, I sleep at least 5, 6 hours in the night. So it is very important for you to know what you spend your time on. Then the next thing is to identify your priorities. What are those things that are most important to you right now? Is it your finance? Is it your education? Is it your credibility? Is it your visibility? What are those things that are your priorities? And please make sure that your priorities are no more than three. If you have some priorities, you don't have priority. You're just joking around. you're just joking around. And make sure that whatsoever it is that you're dedicating your time to are aligned with your values and your goals. What exactly are you pursuing right now? Once you know what that is, it makes life easier for you. And then you have to evaluate your efficiency. What exactly are you being productive around? How are you managing your time? What is your time management skills like? The number of things I have done today, being Sunday, and I have taken my, usually on Sunday, it's very hard for me to want to stand up early. It's very hard. But then I stand up early, I pray and all of that, and then I move into like having another round of like 2 hours sleep until like 10 a.m. So until that 10 a.m., when is that 10 a.m.? Once I'm up, I start to do every other thing and nothing else stops me until the end of the day. So you have to be able to evaluate where your efficiency lies. If I try to force myself away from that 2 hours extra sleep after whatever it is I want to do on Sunday morning, I know I don't like myself. I know I am trying to just hurt myself because I'm just going to be grudgy all day. Know your own self and what is working for you. Now ask yourself, what exactly are those activities that are consuming the most of my time? Are they aligned with my goals and my values? It is very, very important. Now that we are here, we need to run SWOT analysis on the things that we think we have. Because without that, it might be a bit hard for us to be able to focus or make decision on the right things. If you agree with me, let me know in the comments that you agree with me that SWOT analysis is very, very important in order to be able to fix up on what we have and actually choose the most important ones on our journey. Let me know. I am waiting, 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 waiting. How do you run SWOT analysis? It's going to be a very insightful conversation. How do you run your SWOT analysis? I want to know if you think this is important, or we can just skip this part of the slide and move on. Let me know if you think it is important. Absolutely, absolutely. Your priorities shouldn't be more than three, and make sure they align with your values and your goals, because that is the only way for you to be able to focus. And like I said, the first thing on the reasons why you need to pick a struggle is for you to have focus and clarity. Know what you are pursuing, know what is important in this season and at this time of your life. Because if you are not able to do that, you are going to waste your seasons, you are going to waste your time, and you're going to come out from each season and each time asking yourself, why? How did I do this like this? And that's not the way. We don't want to live in regret. We don't want to live in regret. So yes. Now, this is how. It's a 10-step framework here to run a SWOT analysis. If this was a workshop, I would have, you know, gotten you to open up all of that and see your notes and all of that. But let's do it like this. The first one is to define your objective. Why exactly do you want to run a SWOT analysis? So let's say, for instance, if I am to run a SWOT analysis for the book launch coming up, I want to be able to identify my strengths, my weaknesses, my opportunities, and my threats in this coming book launch. That's my reason. Now, gather a team. I can bring people, it might not be like the core team working on the book, but I can bring people to ask them questions on that journey. Now create a SWOT matrix. So a matrix is like the four box. You open a box inside your paper, inside your reading material or writing material. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. One is strength, the other is weakness, the one at the bottom is opportunities, and the last one is the threats. That's what the matrix is like. And then you're going to identify your strength. So in each box, you're going to write those things you have identified as your strengths. I am very, excellent at writing. I'm excellent at speaking. My speaking is very calming. All of those things are strengths, no matter how trivial, no matter how little need to be able to identify them. So don't overlook anything. Oh, because my smile is nice. Maybe that's why people like me. Yes, put it there. It's a strength. I know of somebody that one of the things that attracts people to her is a smile. That's it. What that's one of the things that attracts people to her. Just a smile. And so, no matter what it is that you think is little, pen it down under your strength. Identify your weaknesses. What exactly are those things that are my weaknesses? No matter how little it is, pen it down. One of mine is I have the ability to sit and learn for a very long time, but my execution strength is actually very, very low. It's crazy, yeah. I can learn, I can design, and I can do all of that. But then I need a team around me to be able to execute to the fullest. So once I am left to something by myself after designing and all, it's as if designing the structure and all of that saps out the energy in me and I'm unable to go forward with execution. So, which means that since I know that is my weakness, I have got to work with people that are executors. They just want to get it done. They might not know how to do the structure, they might not know how to put it all together, the designs and all of that, but then they can execute. So identify your opportunities. So because I love to smile, the opportunities that comes from being able to smile at any point in time and all is that people get attracted to me, people want to speak to me, people want to be around me and all of that. These are the opportunities that comes from every single thing that you have. So you're going to say, okay, because I can write well, people love reading from me because my speaking is calm, people love listening to me. So what are the opportunities that can come from this? That means that I am able to, get invited for speaking engagements. I'm able to gather people together in a room and actually speak to them and they listen and stay for as long as possible. I'm able to do this, I'm able to do that. Now identify your threats. This one is talking about the fact that what are those things that can go wrong, either by the virtue of human forces or internal forces, either externally or internally. What are those things that can go wrong? What are those things that can mess things up? When you know what they are, you're going to be able to now do the next thing, which is to analyze and strategize. Using all that you have seen, you're able to analyze and strategize. And when you're able to do that, you are now able to create your priority list. Those three things that are most important to you, you are able to create them. When you have a priority list, you've got to take action and then you can review and update. So do not at any point think that whatever it is that you're able to do is just a one-step process. They all have their opportunities, but they also have their threats. And this is something that you want to really, really, really avoid, either on the short term or on the long term. Let me know if we are still together. Let me say in the comments if this makes any sense to you. The 10-step approach to actually creating a SWOT analysis. The metrics is very, very important because it is where you pour in every single thing. A team does not have to be people, but I will tell you how to actually use what is not people as a team. It doesn't have to be people. It doesn't have to be people, but I'll tell you what that is in the coming slide. So there are so many things that has been packed into this session tonight. And so you finding what you have is going to be as easy as possible. Right? Right. So let's get into the next part. And this says personality test. Another beautiful way to uncover what you have is your personality test. You see, with personality tests, you are able to find those things that you will not naturally find on the internet. You are able to put a name to those things that it feels like you are weird, but in all honesty, you are not. It's just your natural inclinations. It's just the things that comes easy for you and to you. So what you want to do is to pick any of these things. So you can go to Strength Finder, you can go to VIA Character Strength. I have taken all of these surveys, all of them, and they have said the same thing. And so what happens with all of these things is you go to their site, you can just type Myers-Briggs type indicator or go to 16personalities.com. With that, they ask you series of questions. You answer these questions, and then you coming up from research and all of the other things over the years that they have been able to gather, then they are able to share what they think of you. And in most cases, these things are so true that it can get creepy. I tell people that a lot of times before I tell them to go and take their personality test. When you get your personality test results, sometimes you feel as if, I hope this is not Jean working with me. But it's just years of research that has been put together to actually be called data. And this data brings about an analysis, and this analysis is what they come up with as a conclusion and actually share, in which there is always the standard thing that it might not be 100% true for everybody. But go to 16personalities.com, and they actually use the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, MBTI. But then you can also go to Strength Finder. I haven't used Strength Finder, but I have done VI character strength survey. I have done that, and Myers-Briggs, but I haven't done Strength Finder. So just type Strength Finder, type 16 personalities, type Myers-Briggs type indicator, or type VI character strength in your Google, and they're going to take you to their site, and you're able to do your test. The answers again might be creepy, but it's true, because you'll be like, how can someone know me so well? That was how I felt the first, second, third, fourth. Every single time I do it, I feel like these people are just witches and wizards. So you don't have to be like me, but then it's going to actually open you up to all of the many things that you do not know about yourself, right? So, how to pick your struggle? It is to decide. You have done your SWOT analysis. You have done your personality test. They've pointed you to so many things. But you see, no matter what people say to us, no matter what people share with us, no matter how do I use this word? No matter the angles people come through in our lives, or data or research comes through in our life, we've got to decide what to do with them. And so that's why in picking your struggle, you are deciding. It's a decision making process. And I actually shared a lot about decision making in this session. How do you pick a struggle? How do you decide? How do you decide? The first thing you want to do is to know the three important decisions you are going to have to make. The first one are your routine decisions. These routine decisions, they are everyday decisions, every week decision, every moment decision, to eat or to not eat. It's going to affect your health, but then are you going to eat or not? To sleep or to not sleep? To rest or to not rest? All of that, they are routine decisions. Then there are tactical decisions. These ones are, I can call them short-term decisions. But then, because they are short-term, they actually have a way that makes them very important, because they are always linked to your strategic decisions. And your strategic decisions are your long-term decisions. So when you wake up every day to decide to read that book might be a short-term decision, but because that book will improve the knowledge that you have about a number of things, then that means it is going to help your strategic decision. To show up every day for the School of Politics, Policy and Governance every time that they call, that's 4 times a week, sometimes on a Saturday making 5, to show up with anything or for anything that I need to show up for every single time, it might be a tactical decision. 1 year, 2 weeks, 5 weeks, 10 weeks. But then the strategic decisions that they actually help is that I get visibility, I get clarity, I get knowledge, I get thought leadership, and all of that. So know that your routine decisions are drawn from your tactical decisions. And your tactical decisions actually come together to make something out of your strategic decisions. Are we together? Yes, we are. Good. Now, this is a simple decision making framework, yeah? And sorry. Okay, good. So this is a simple decision making framework. It makes it easy for you to make decision as fast as possible. But in all honesty, life is crazy. And so I am still going to give you some other tools. But if you want to make decision, think about first your objectives. Why exactly are you making this decision? What exactly is it bringing for you, either short term or long term? To show up here, what is it bringing for me? My ability to teach, people learn from me, and then I get to tell you about the Walls to Bridges book. Those are the objectives of showing up here today. Establish a criteria. What exactly must happen for this decision to make sense? So, for the decision of coming here, Purpose Ready Bootcamp to make sense, there is a flyer that goes out for publicity. There is a landing page. There is, there is a team. There is yeah, thank you. I surely make you hear what you need to hear the exact way you need to. Absolutely. I love that. So there is the criteria of, oh, my slides are up, there is a tool in place, my lights are very good, my network is, on par. It's everything is just going to flow. I know how to use the tools that I want to use. These are the criteria for the decision to show up for the Purpose Ready Bootcamp to make any sense. Now, generate options. So, when we talk about options, what are the other things that I could have done rather than Purpose Ready Bootcamp? List your options. Now, evaluate these options. And in the next one, we're going to talk about how to actually evaluate your options. I have 20 tools, but I'm going to give you just 5. Those that are going to be in the, pre-launch community, where I'm going to be showing up twice every month. They are going to get more on that, evaluating options thing. But you are going to have to start with the ones I'm going to give you. Now, evaluate your options. So, for instance, if I do not come live on YouTube for Purpose Ready Bootcamp, what exactly are the other ways that I can tell you about Walls to Bridges book? I could start a daily blog post, weekly blog post. I tried that. It wasn't working for me. I wasn't liking it. I was too busy for it. I could start a weekly newsletter. I could start a podcast. The stress of that was like crazy for me. So I didn't want to do that. So there are so many options of what I could do, but evaluate them. Do they align with your talents, with your treasures, with your tools? The SWOT analysis you have done, what you're good at, the opportunities they bring for you, the threats. One of my threats of actually trying to write every single time like that might be that I might write on the fly. It's not carefully thought out. So I might just decide, oh, this topic and I want to write it. Even if I have a calendar, I might not do my deep research and all of that because I can write. So these are the threats. I might not publish at the right time. I might not show up at the right time. Unlike this, I'm here. So all of those things will come together to actually, bring about how you look at a number of things and the decisions that you want to make. So the final thing is you're going to have to make a choice. But before you make a choice, let's talk about evaluating your decisions or evaluating your options so that you don't just make any random choice like that. Now, what are the important factors in, making decisions? First things first, do they align with your values and your goals? It is very important. The decisions that you make must. It's not. It's not. It's not optional. Get me right. It is not optional. Take it away. It is not optional that the decision you make are just random. No, they've got to align with your values and your goals. Yesterday, we talked about working with those that, their objectives align, but their values might not align. And what I said was, know how much is too much for you. If your values are not aligning, know the kind of places that, you have to put a stop to it. So, make sure that whatever decision you are making, it's always, always, always aligning with your values and your goals. The next thing is, what are the risks and the uncertainties involved? The risk involved in coming here is network might actually at any point. The risk involved in doing a live session is that my something might crash, my laptop something might happen. The uncertainty is, how sure am I that people are going to show up for the session? How sure am I that people even want to hear about this? How sure am I that I am going to make any sense? How sure am I that I'm going to be able to deliver? These are some of the uncertainties and the risks involved in actually doing some things that I do. But here we are. It's making sense. And someone just said that I surely make her hear what she needs to hear, just the exact way she needs to hear it. So, in making that decision, there are risks and uncertainties, but make sure that they don't cripple you. Another thing is time constraint. Do you have time for it? How busy are you? What is your day like on a normal day? How can you cram this thing that you want to do into this day? Do you have the time? So let's say I made it the weekend because I know this is the time that I have to actually do this. On Mondays to Fridays, I have classes from 6 o'clock till 9 past 9, 9:30. And so that means that I do not have the liberty to actually use my time on weekdays to do this. So when do I have time? So you have to look at your time constraints. It is very important. Now, the impact on other people. I know that people love to hear my voice because it has a way it makes them feel. So, because that is something that impacts others in a way, then I want to actually do that because it has very good impact on people. Maybe being able to share this will also impact people in attracting their purpose and so many other things. And then the information quality. What is the quality of the information I have about what I'm about to do? It is very important that you have that in mind. Put that inside your mind, in your head. It is very important. Right? Right. Now that we have talked about the important factors in making your decisions, the next thing will be the 5 tools to evaluating your options. Because I said that the fourth thing you want to do is to evaluate your options before you make a choice. But there are some ways that you can actually, not do it alone when it comes to actually evaluating your options. Sorry, thank you. So there are so many ways for you to evaluate your options. I have 20, but I'm going to give you 5 tonight because we are running a lot out of time. The first one is second order thinking. And what I want you to do is you're not doing this alone, right? You're not doing it alone. You are going to go to your favorite AI tool, let's say ChatGPT or something, and you're going to ask for second order thinking. When you ask for second order thinking, you are going to now place the decision that you are about to make into that particular area. So second order thinking is, talking about the long term and the indirect consequences of the decisions that you're about to make. Long term and indirect. You know, when you're doing something, there are direct issues that can come up, and then there are indirect ones. So the kind of one that I think of that I use for my students when I was teaching gender-based violence is when they say don't have a boyfriend. Let's use that as an example. I use that a lot for my students doing my work. Don't have a boyfriend. What is the immediate pleasure of having a boyfriend? You say you have a companion, you have somebody to show off and all of that. But let's think about the fact that it is possible that because of this, it can actually lead to unwanted pregnancy. You can start to lose focus in class and all of that. When that happens, it affects your education. If it is the case of unwanted pregnancy, then that means you have to stay at home until whenever to have your baby, to take care of your baby. And that means that you have lost a number of years when it comes to school. Now I tell them, if you have lost a number of years when it comes to school, who is going to take care of your child even when you want to go back to school? How do you even take care of yourself and your child together if there is nobody to support and all of that? So that is second order thinking. What exactly are the long term and the indirect consequences or effects or things that comes with this decision that you're about to make? Carefully think about it. Right? The second one is the Pareto principle, and this is the 80-20 rule. What exactly is that 20% that what exactly is that 20% action or 20% result of this decision that will bring you 80% reward? If you can actually find that, so don't do it for just one, don't do it for your favorite option. Do it for all of your options. There is also regret minimization framework where you are trying to reduce the amount of regret that comes with each of your decisions. So what you do is, okay, using the regret minimization framework, evaluate so decision, you are going to see options, all of the ways that regrets can come in and what you can do to avoid them. Then there is the sunk cost fallacy. And I love this one a lot because the sunk cost fallacy says that because you have invested time, effort, money, whatsoever into a particular thing, it's kind of hard for you to want to let go. But with sunk cost fallacy, you might be doing yourself more harm than good. So, what sunk cost fallacy does is you pick each of the options that you have and say, evaluate this using sunk cost fallacy. And what that does is that you are able to see your attachments. Because if you are attached to something because of the number of times, years, and all that you have spent doing them, it is very crucial to note that it might not be the most profitable thing for you in that moment. You're welcome. You are very much welcome. So you see, sunk cost fallacy is very important because you're looking at it like, all that I have invested in this will now go down the drain. No. And you might be holding on to something that you don't need to hold on to. It happens in relationships, it happens, in works, in your work life, it happens in your businesses and all of that. Just use any of those frameworks to actually evaluate the options that you have. I gave one of my students, one of these examples the other day about, my wedding. I remember when people were asking me when am I getting married after NYC, I kept on asking them, what exactly am I taking to this marriage? Because in all honesty, I don't have anything to take to the marriage at that point. I have a BS certificate though. That's a very good one. But is that all? Am I emotionally ready? Am I psychologically ready? Am I so if I had even known all of those things at that point, I could have used that to actually dissect the idea of not getting married early, and then I would have something to say to them. But the only thing I could ask them at that point was, what am I taking to the marriage? But now I can say, looking at regret minimization framework, if I had gotten married at that point, I didn't have the mental strength to accommodate another person. I wasn't emotionally intelligent enough. And that means that I would not be able to function in some areas of my life that requires me being, careful of the other person, which can lead to, a broken home, a broken marriage, and a broken life in the end. So, and the final one is opportunity cost. What are the opportunities involved in this particular option? So look at each of your options. What are the opportunities involved in this particular option? What are the opportunities involved in this particular option? Because that way you are able to actually know where you value the next best alternative. So the benefits that could have been obtained if you have taken a different line of action. That's what opportunity cost deals with. That's what opportunity cost deals with. What exactly are the values you can obtain if you do this, if you do that, if you do this, if you do that? And that way you have a robust framework. You have a robust framework to work with in evaluating your options so that when making decisions, it gets easier and it gets exciting and it gets more profitable and it attracts you to purpose. Are we still together? Does this make any sense to you? Does it sound like something you're excited about? Is there anything, that feels like, oh my God, I wish, I wish, I knew this earlier. I love this. I love this comment. I have been having difficulties making decisions, but hearing this and reflecting on my past decision making process and how I go wrong, I am very grateful for this on decision making process. Yes, I'm excited to have done this with you too. I'm very excited. I'm excited too. Okay, Let's move on to the next part of things. And here we are going to talk about the tips for, improving your decision making process. The first thing is to stay informed. Again, stay informed. Thank you, Symbiat. Stay informed. You see, information is the key to a lot of things. I remember Lai Wasabi said that info, lay off info. It is very important to note that information will make it easy for you to get into a lot of places in life. So stay informed. Whatsoever it is that you want to make decision about, stay informed. The second thing is to seek advice. Yes, conflicting voices might be a problem, but know those that you can seek advices from and seek advice from them. Please. Then the third thing is to think long term. Short term is good, but let your short term be drawn out of your long term. Always let your short term be drawn out of your long term, because when your short term is drawn out of your long term, that means that you are still working on the same path, just that you are doing things in preparation for the big thing. So when you think long term, you are able to create the goal, set the goal, and then you are working and achieving part time until you are able to get to the big thing. So always think long term. The fourth thing is to practice critical thinking. See, I say something, learn without permission. The ability to go above and beyond what anybody is available and willing to teach you, to share with you, to walk you through, to hold your hands on. Learn without permission. When something is going wrong, already think about it in your own end before you even go out to meet anybody. I'm not saying not to seek help, but before you seek help, let the person you are seeking help for know that, okay, this person has, they've tried their best. It just wasn't working. And then finally, be decisive. It only takes one decision to change your life. It takes one decision to change the trajectory of things for you. So be decisive. Take that decision, follow through with it. Either you succeed or you fail, no problem. Move on. When you fail, you learn new things. Failure is just a learning opportunity, nothing else. So be decisive. Whatever it is you have decided upon, do it. Whether you fail, go ahead. Whether you succeed, go ahead too. Right. And then we are going to something very, very important. Let me take your questions before I move into this part of this conversation. Let me take your questions. Do you have any questions? Drop them in the comments, and I'm super excited to answer your questions. Drop your questions in the comments. Drop your questions in the comments. Drop your questions in the comments. It is very, very important. Drop your comments drop your questions in the comments. I want to see them so that I can answer them before we move on to the next part of this conversation. I am waiting for your question. Let me see them so that I'm able to show you what next needs to be done. Okay, so because we do not have any other questions, I'll move on to this. Like I said yesterday, you got to meet the book Walls to Bridges, and I'm super excited because you are going to be able to learn more about it, much, much more than you can ever think about. And I want you to note that when we talk about this particular book, we are talking about all I have been able to put together in the last, should I say, few years when it comes to making most out of my life. And so, with this in mind, I want you to note that every single person who is going to, from tonight, get a copy of Walls to Bridges in the pre order format will have access to very few things. And this, after the pre order period, no one will have access to anymore. The first thing is going to be one, access to all of these replays. This replay, I'm going to take them down by the 1st of August. Yes, by the 1st of August. So that means that every single person who is able to get this will have access to these replays. Also, we have the 9 session we had during the Validum year-end hangout in 2023 going to 2024. And that is going to be available, all 9 replays. Then you're going to have access to 219 values that you can actually make life around. Think about that. And then you're going to have access to me for the next 3 months, coming into that community to share with you a number of things, a number of learnings, answer your questions and all of that in a bi-monthly session. Imagine all of this, all for just the price of 3,500 naira. And you can also get access to these when you click on this link, when you pre order on this link. So, if you're ready to do that, make sure that you pre order your copy of the Purpose of the Walls to Bridges book. So, let me have a question on yesterday's session that you said you have. There's a lot to do, but send in your questions. Send in your questions. Let me have it. Send in your questions. Send in your questions. Send in your questions. You said you have questions from yesterday's session, so please do send in your questions. I'm patiently waiting. One of the many things that comes with being able to pre-order Walls to Bridges book is also the fact that you are just going to have access to asking questions to a community of like-minded individuals. To the 219 value list, you're going to have access to a number of things, and you are also going to be able to ask me questions. And I'm going to also dive deep into some things that we had one of them during this session in that community based on your questions, because this is a ticket to getting more and to making more out of our time together. So from now until October, you have me to yourself just because you have gotten your own copy of the book. Now send in your questions so I can answer your questions and then we can call it a night. So I saw this and let me explain what it means. Yeah. Seeking advice from someone does not mean you are going to follow it. Because if you look at if you look at the response they gave to you, if it does not align with your values and your goals, if it does not align with all of the five criteria that we have talked about, then you do not have to follow it. But you are going to decide if you want to follow it or not. So make sure that you always check what every of the advice you seek and the responses you get, what it aligns with. And so, in the absence of any other question, I want to say thank you so much for joining in today. I am super excited to have shared myself with you again. And with that in mind, I'm going to stay for the next 4 more minutes on my end here, which is going to mean that this session is going to end at 8:50. If I do not see any question, then we might just call it a day. So let me put up some music for you all. Okay, I think this session is there. Okay. Okay, I'm waiting. Okay. Okay. All right. So when it comes to this, it doesn't mean that you're not finding purpose. When I say attract purpose, what I'm saying is simple. The general belief is to chase it, which does not give you the room to sit clearly and think about all of the many things that is available to bring it to you. So, for instance, when you are chasing money, okay, so let me answer the first questions. You are going to find purpose either ways, but the general belief is chasing purpose, not attracting it. Attracting purpose is not the easy route, but it is the preferable route because you are going to enjoy life through the journey. And then, like I said yesterday, purpose is not something that you can find like that. Purpose comes to you because purpose comes with a lot more than you can ever imagine. Purpose is not one thing. Purpose is not supposed to be one thing. Purpose evolves, purpose changes. But when it is evolving and changing, you cannot know because you are using your potential, and potentials are needed for you to be able to do something with purpose. And so, in all of the stages that you go through, you are not seeing yourself actually making any, let me say, any drastic change. No, you just keep on moving and moving and moving. It's like step by step process. Purpose is not one thing. I did not start my journey speaking about purpose. No. I started my journey speaking about communication, learning to speak, writing well. I didn't start my journey. Even when I wrote my first book, 4 Questions of Why, I did not at any point thought about the fact that it was attracting purpose to me. So as I transitioned over the years, it started to get clear. It was not at any point like, oh, I just woke up one day, this is it, and then I move in. Boom. No. What I have today, what I show up as today, where I come in today, where I stand out today, has never been a thing of, oh my goodness, it was a one day thing. No. So many things come together to make where I am today. And wherever it is I'll be tomorrow, so many other things will come together to make that happen. So you want to understand that purpose is not one thing. It never was, and it never will be, because it evolves. And that's why I took the time to discuss the 6 logical levels of change, because purpose is going to run you through all of these 6 things at different levels. It's going to run you through every single thing. But you know what? The main thing with purpose is to impact the world. The main thing with purpose is for you to be able to call people to a particular path. Now, if people start to write better because they come in contact with you, you are fulfilling purpose. If people begin to speak better because they come in contact with you are fulfilling purpose. If people want to have better relationships just because they come in contact with you are fulfilling purpose. So purpose is never one thing. It's a lineup of many things, but you will never go through them at the same time. So I want you to take that away. Purpose is a lineup of many things, but you are never going to go through them all at the same time. You've got to finish one to move on to the next. And the thing with purpose is that because you are going through it with your passion, potential, and all of that, you are just transitioning. You're just moving. You're just moving. You're just moving. And then if you are tracking your successes, your progress, and your failure, then that's when you're able to see that, oh my God, at this point, I did this. At that point, I did that. At this point, I did this. So that means that you did not at any point just jumped from here to the other side. No. You walked through it, you crawled through it, you climbed through it, whichever it is that wants to work for you. But you are never going to just go through everything at once. So to answer your questions, you attract purpose because it allows you go through all of the many things you are supposed to go through in life. When you chase purpose, your eyes is focused on the destination and not the journey. The journey, in that journey, is where purpose is, not in the destination. Because there is never a destination with purpose. You are a public speaker, people want to go to your church or your mosque because of that. It's purpose, because your purpose is to actually draw people to God. You do this, people want to do this because of you. It's a purposeful action. So you attract purpose, not chase it. And then it is not one thing, it is many things that actually lead you to one thing. So that's how life is. And I hope this has been able to answer your question. If yes, let me know in the comments if I have been able to answer the question. And then we can say good night, goodbye in the next 2 minutes, where this says we have spent 1 hour, 30 minutes making the most out of this Sunday evening. I am super excited to have shared myself with you. I am super excited to have been that person who is capable of holding your attention for the past, close to 1 hour, 30 minutes, who is able to get you to ask questions, feel like you are in the right place and you're not wasting your time. I say thank you once again for making sure that this Sunday evening was spent with me, Balkis Amzat. And until tomorrow, when we go through day 3 of the Purpose Ready Bootcamp. And this time, we are standing out for purpose. Thank you so much. I remain Balkis Samzat. And until the next time we get to talk, enjoy your life, attract purpose, and make the most out of every situation that you have been called to in life. Thank you and good night.